Hello children, how are you? I hope you all are doing well and studying well. So children, you know that grammar enhances our vocabulary. Whatever we write, whatever we read, whatever we speak, it gets more enhanced because of grammar. Because whenever we are grammatically right, the impression is totally different, isn't it? So children, in grammar, we have learnt about the concept of direct and indirect speech in our previous classes. Now, we are going to talk about it in more detail in this chapter called direct and indirect speech. Alright? So, hello kids. I hope you know the difference between a direct and an indirect speech. ये हमने पहले भी किया था. डायरेक्ट स्पीच वो होता है जब हम वही चीज़ बताते हैं जो किसी ने बोली है. ओके? और इनडायरेक्ट स्पीच में हम उसी चीज़ को थोड़ा बहुत अपने वर्ड्स में डाल के समझा देते हैं. Alright, so direct and indirect speech are the two ways of reporting what someone has said. Okay, so direct speech is when we state or write exactly what someone has said. Okay, so if someone else has said something, we say the exact words. Okay, indirect speech is when we say or write those words in our own way. Like, let's look at these examples, okay? First one, I need your help to do my sums. Okay, now this is a conversation where the boy is telling the girl, I need your help to do my sums. Now, she's saying, he said that he needed my help to do his sums. Okay, so we may quote the actual words used by the speaker as, he said, I am bored of hearing this music. Now, this is direct speech. This is in his words. Okay. We may report these words in our own words as he said that he was bored of hearing that music. तो अब ये उसने अपने words में बोला है. Okay, मतलब किसी और ने उसके words को अपने words में बोला. Alright, so this is indirect or reported speech. A direct speech has two parts. One is reporting verb and second is reported speech. अब ये example देखो, mother said. अब said क्या होता है? Reporting verb होता है. Your books are here, Ravi. So that is the reported speech. Okay. Now there are certain general rules that we need to follow. Okay. First one, reported speech is always enclosed within inverted commas. तो अगर कोई कुछ बोलता है तो वो सेम एग्जैक्ट वर्ड्स जब हम कहते हैं तो we will always put it in the inverted commas because they are the exact words of someone who has spoken them. When we change it into indirect speech, inverted commas are removed. If the reported speech is an assertive sentence, that means it's a positive sentence, the conjunction that is used to introduce the reported speech. Now, while changing a direct speech into indirect speech, when we change a direct into indirect speech, we have to make changes in the tenses, personal pronouns and adverbs of time and place. So, ये आपको ध्यान में रखना है कि whenever you are changing it, you have to change the tenses, personal pronouns and adverbs of time and place. Now, tenses and adverbs of time and place, they are determined by the tense of the reporting verb. So, reporting verb जो होता है, जैसे for example यहाँ पे आपने देखा said, okay, so that's a reporting verb. तो उसके हिसाब से हम tense को use करेंगे. Questions are changed to assertives and imperatives are changed to infinitives. Clear? Now, let's look at the assertive changes. Let's look at the changes in the assertive sentences first. Okay, the first one, changes in tense. When the reporting verb is in the past tense, okay, the tense of the reported speech is changed while changing it into the indirect speech. तो अगर past tense में है तो आप जब उसको indirect speech में convert करते हो तो अब उसका tense change हो जाएगा. So these changes have been shown along with examples in the following table. Now, direct speech. For a simple present tense, she said, I am a teacher. So, said आ गया past tense. Now, simple past tense उसका बन जाएगा. She said that she was a teacher. तो आप जब उसको कन्वर्ट करोगे तो वो बन जाता है सिंपल पास्ट टेंस. यहाँ पे वो प्रेजेंट टेंस होता है, सिंपल प्रेजेंट टेंस, जहाँ पे वो बोल रही है आई एम अ टीचर। अब उसको जब आप इनडायरेक्ट में चेंज करोगे तो वो सेड जो वर्ड है, वर्ब है, उसको पिक करके हम चेंज करेंगे इनटू सिंपल पास्ट टेंस व्हिच सेज दैट शी सेड दैट शी वाज अ टीचर। प्रेजेंट कंटिन्यूअस टेंस, नाउ लेट्स लुक एट दैट। शी सेड आई एम टीचिंग चिल्ड्रन। अब इसका बन जाएगा पास्ट कंटिन्यूअस टेंस, तो हम लिखेंगे शी सेड दैट शी वाज टीचिंग चिल्ड्रन। थर्ड, प्रेजेंट परफेक्ट टेंस, यहां पे शी सेड आई हैव टॉट देम। अब इसको चेंज करेंगे पास्ट परफेक्ट टेंस में। हाउ? शी सेड दैट शी हैड टॉट देम। ओके। प्रेजेंट परफेक्ट कंटिन्यूअस टेंस, शी सेड I have been teaching them since morning. यहाँ पे आएगा she said that she had been teaching them since morning. Simple past tense हम लिखते हैं she said I bought a new book yesterday. अब इसको हम बनाएंगे past perfect tense में, okay? Because ये already past tense है, she said past tense हो गया, I bought a new book yesterday. इसको हम past perfect में change करेंगे. She said that she had bought a new book the previous day. Remember, yesterday becomes the previous day. Okay? She said I was teaching class 8. ये past continuous tense है. इसका past perfect continuous tense बनेगा. She said that she had been teaching class 8. Future tense, जहाँ पे will आता है. She said, I will make the children learn more. अब would instead of will be used, okay? She said that she would make the children learn more. Future tense, जहाँ पे going to आता है. She said, I am going to buy an interesting story book. तो ये past continuous tense में change हो जाएगा where you say that she said that she was going to buy an interesting story book. Okay? Now, let's look at the notes. First, sentences in the past perfect and past perfect continuous tense, they remain unchanged. वो as is ही use होते हैं. There is a change of the modals shall, will, can and may to their corresponding past tenses which is formally known as shall का should हो जाता है, will का would, can का could and may का might. Clear? Now, the past tense forms should, would, could and might, they remain unchanged. Okay, उसमें कोई भी change नहीं होता है because if they occur in the direct speech. अगर वो direct speech में आते तो वो as is ही रहते, but अगर direct speech में will आता है तो indirect में उसका would बन जाएगा. Okay, now we need no change in the tense of the reported speech when 1. The reporting verb is in the present tense. For example, he says to her. अब ये प्रेजेंट टेंस हो गया, said नहीं लिखा है ना, says लिखा है. He says to her, you are mistaken. तो इसको हम चेंज नहीं करेंगे. इनडायरेक्ट में आएगा, he tells her that she is mistaken. Okay? Second, the direct speech talks about a general truth or a historical or scientific fact even when the reporting verb is in the past tense. My father said. Inflation tends to rise day by day. अब ये general fact है, तो indirect में आएगा My father said that inflation tends to rise day by day. तो इसमें कोई भी change नहीं आएगा. In the reported speech, it stays as it is. Okay? Direct में, if they say the teacher said the sun rises in the east, which is a universal truth, अब इसमें change नहीं आएगा. Indirect way हो जाएगा the teacher said that the sun rises in the east. Okay? Now, let's look at changes in adverbs of time and place. Direct speech में when you say this evening, it changes to that evening. Okay? When we are saying, suppose for example we say in direct speech, he said, I will come this evening. तो इसका indirect हो जाएगा he said that he would come that evening. Okay? Today or this day changes to that day. These days changes to those days. Now changes to then. a week ago changes to a week before. Last weekend changes to the weekend before or the previous weekend. Here changes to there. Next week changes to the following week. And tomorrow changes to the next day or following day. Similarly, likewise, yesterday changes to the previous day. Clear? ये हमने पहले ही एग्जाम्पल में डिस्कस किया था. Now, for example, direct, she said, this is a good boy. Indirect बन जाएगा, she said that was a good boy. She said that was a good boy. So that 2 बार आएगा यहाँ पे, but एक silent हो जाएगा. Okay? Direct, Arun said, I worked here in the garden yesterday. So indirect बन जाता है, Arun said that he had worked there. Here का बन जाएगा there, in the garden. Yesterday का बन जाएगा the previous day. Clear? Now remember, these changes depend on the circumstances of reporting. So instead of rigid rules, common sense should be applied also. Okay? Now, next is changes in personal pronouns. First person pronouns change according to the number and person of the subject of the reporting verb. Okay? First person मतलब I, we. ओके सो ये जो होते हैं, ये फर्स्ट पर्सन जो होते हैं वो चेंज हो जाएंगे. सो डायरेक्ट में व्हेन यू से शी सेड आई वांट टू टेक माय वर्ड्स बैक, तो ये चेंज हो जाएगा. इनडायरेक्ट में शी सेड दैट, आई का चेंज हो जाएगा शी. ओके, वांटेड टू टेक, अब माई का हो जाएगा हर वर्ड्स बैक. ओके, नाउ सेकेंड पर्सन प्रोनाउंस change according to the number and person of the object of the reporting verb. Okay, अब reporting verb के हिसाब से वो change हो जाता है. So direct में when you say mother said to me, you have to finish your work by 2 o'clock. तो यहाँ पे indirect हो जाएगा mother told me that I, you का change हो जाएगा I had to finish, your का हो जाएगा my work by 2 o'clock. Clear? Now, third person pronouns do not change while changing direct into indirect speech. Direct में when you say he said, my father is going to visit his parents. Okay? Indirect हो जाएगा he said that his father, my का बन जाएगा his father was going to visit his parents. तो यहाँ पे कोई भी changes नहीं आते while changing direct into indirect speech. Okay? If a reporting verb has an object, he said to me. Okay, said is changed to told. Okay, तो ये said change हो जाता है told में. Okay, now let's be smart, and to do that we have to do the exercises. All right, complete the indirect speech sentences by filling the correct tense of the verb. Okay, Afroz said, my friend is going to visit us next week. तो indirect बन जाएगा Afroz said that his friend was going to visit them the following week. Okay. Anita said they bought a brand new car. Anita said that they had bought a brand new car. Okay. She said they are watching TV at the moment. So she said that they were watching TV at that moment. Clear? Now, rest of the sentences you have to do by yourself, but do reread whatever portion we have done so far. Alright, now let's move ahead and look at the imperative sentences. We've already seen assertive, now let's look at the imperative ones. In reporting imperative sentences, the indirect speech is introduced by some verb expressing command, request or advice. And the imperative mood is changed into the infinitive. Now, in this case, the person addressed has to be mentioned in the indirect speech. तो जिस person के बारे में हम बात करें, जिसको address करें, वो indirect speech में हमें उसके बारे में बोलना है. Okay? And this person is often the object of the reported verb. Okay? It is the object of the reporting verb. Now, let's look at the example. Direct. March ahead, said the general to the soldiers. Now, indirect होगा the general ordered the soldiers to march ahead. Okay, तो यहाँ पे general to the soldiers है, तो हम दोनों इसमें mention करेंगे. Direct, he said to him, please wait here till I return. Indirect, he requested him. तो requested क्यों बोला है? क्योंकि हमने please word use किया है. Okay, he requested him to wait there till he returned. Okay, direct, he shouted, let me go. So indirect होगा, he shouted to them to let him go. Okay, direct, he said, be quiet and listen to my words. Indirect होगा, he urged them to be quiet and listen to his words. Direct, call the first witness, said the king. Indirect, the king commanded them to call the first witness. Clear? Now, let's look at the interrogative sentences. As you all know, interrogative sentences means question sentences. So, in reporting questions, the indirect speech is introduced by some verbs such as asked, enquired, questioned, etc. So, यहाँ पे ये words use हो जाते हैं. So, now when the question starts with a be, do or have verb, the conjunction if or whether is used in place of that. जैसे हम change करते तो that word use करते हैं, but when we are talking about interrogative तो यहाँ पे change हो जाएगा if या whether में. Okay. Now when the question is introduced by a WH word, okay, the WH word itself is used as the conjunction, but the question is changed to an assertive sentence. Okay, तो वही वर्ड यूज करते हैं, बट यहाँ पे जो क्वेश्चन जो होता है वो असर्टिव में चेंज हो जाता है. लाइक लेट्स लुक एट द एग्जांपल. ही सेड टू मी, व्हाट आर यू डूइंग. सो यहाँ पे इनडायरेक्ट में चेंज हो जाएगा. ही आस्क्ड मी व्हाट आई वाज डूइंग. डायरेक्ट, डू यू नो मोर देन योर फादर, jeered the teacher. The teacher jeered and asked if he knew more than his father. Mother said to me, are you going to school? Mother asked me if I was going to school. Dave asked me, where did you go last weekend? Dave asked me where I had gone the previous weekend. तो देखा यहाँ पे questions जो भी है वो change हो गए हैं into assertive sentences. Alright? Now, rewrite the following sentences into indirect speech. I said to him, can I trust you? I asked him if I could trust him. The passenger said to the airport manager, have all the flights been delayed due to fog today? The passenger asked the airport manager if all the flights were delayed that day due to fog. Okay. Mukesh said to his friends, which movie were you planning to watch yesterday? Mukesh asked his friends which movie they were planning to watch the previous day. Clear? Now, likewise, you have to finish the rest of them. Now, complete the following sentences into indirect speech. Alia, to you. Will Manisha have lunch with Sunita? Alia asked me if Manisha would have lunch with Sunita. Radha, to you. Do you want to read a storybook? Radha asked Saurav if he wanted to read a storybook. Okay, likewise you have to do the remaining ones. Now let's look at the changes in modal verbs. Here is a list of modal verbs, okay, that is modals that always change while converting into indirect speech. For example, can or cannot, which is a direct one, direct speech, it changes to could or couldn't. May changes to might, will or shall changes to would or should, and must changes to have to. Okay, now here is a list of modal verbs that do not change while converting into indirect speech. Might, could, must and need not. They do not change, they stay as it is. Direct, let's look at the example. If in the direct it says, I said to him, can I trust you? So indirect, I asked him if I could trust him. Direct, he said I might come tomorrow. Indirect, he said that he might come the day after. Direct, you need to stay on after the class, said the teacher. Indirect, the teacher said that I need to stay on after the class. Okay, simple, easy है. तो यहाँ पे आप देखोगे need not stay, तो ये need not ही रह जाएगा. Okay, might चेंजेगा, can का could में change हो गया. Clear? Now rewrite these sentences in indirect speech using one of the introductory verbs given in the box. If you are eating at Big Burgers, try their chocolate ice cream. It's delicious, our friend told us. So, यहाँ पे change हो जाएगा. Our friend suggested that if we were eating at Big Burgers, then to try their chocolate ice cream because it's delicious. Okay, because as it is delicious. Clear? You must take the young science talent exam. The teacher said, you've got a good head for science and it is very likely you will get a scholarship. So, the teacher encouraged that you must take the young science talent exam. The teacher said, you've got a good head for science and it is very likely you will get a scholarship. So, ये change हो जाएगा. The teacher encouraged me to take part in the young science talent exam as I have got a head for science and I am very likely to get a scholarship. Okay, clear? Now, rest of the sentences you have to do by yourself. Now, the next one, change the following speech into direct speech. She said that she was going to start writing in a few minutes. She said, I will start writing in few minutes. The director told the employees that he was going to resign. The director said, I am resigning. Clear? Now, rest of the sentences you have to do by yourself. And children, remember, before you start doing any of these exercises, you know what you have to do? You have to read the rules, learn them and accordingly attempt the exercises. Do reread the chapter before attempting the exercises. So, get going.